Okay, this week's parsha speaks about Yosef. Joseph was entrapped, and he was working for Potiphar. And the story tells us that one day Yosef came home, and he was trying. The wife of Potiphar was trying to seduce Yosef. And Chazal tell us, our sages tell us, that Dmus Diyokna Shalav Nir B'Chalayim. He saw the Dmus Diyokna, the image of his father, in the window, and he refrained, and he ran outside. Vayanos Yotza Chutza, he ran and left outside. So the Baal Shem HaKadosh has a teaching like this. This is Baal Shem's teaching, that it's a very deep teaching that's connected to a lot of the Torahs of Baal Shem, a lot of the teachings of Baal Shem Tov. And the teaching is as follows. Pirush, what does it mean that that he saw the image of his father? It is known that the wife of Potiphar would beautify herself in front of Yosef because she was trying to seduce him. And the garments that she wore in the morning were not the same garments she wore in the afternoon. The garments she wore in the afternoon was not the garments she wore in the evening. And the whole idea was to seduce him. Yosef did not desire this type of beauty. Rather, he used this beauty, the beauty of the woman Potiphar, to connect himself to the highest level of beauty, Tiferes Ha'elyon, which is also called, Tiferes is called Yaakov, Yisrael, which is Dmus Diyokna Shalav, the image of his father. And therefore, he ran and left outside. That means, from the physical image of beauty, he was able to transcend to the higher level of beauty. And he was to connect himself with the higher beauty. This is what the Baal Shem Tov teaches, and I just want to unpack this and explain this very shortly, what this means. It means like this. The Baal Shem Tov is saying that every single thing that we see in this world, part of the Baal Shem Tov's teachings is that every single thing that happens in this world, every single thing that we see, and every single thing that we hear, and everything that occurs to us is b'hashgacha. There's a divine providence. There's an intentionality to everything that happens in our life. And everything is bringing us and allows us, if we truly tap into that, to bring us to a higher state, to a deeper state, to a level of connection with Hashem. So what's with beauty? So the Baal Shem Tov's teaching is like this. When you see beauty in this world, what do you do when you see the beauty? The first level, or the first way a person interacts with beauty, or with any type of thing in this world, is let's say it's beauty. They're attracted to the beauty, they feel connected to it, and then they become possessed by, let's say, owning that beauty. Let's say it's a car, or it's a person, it's an object. They desire it because it's a beautiful object, it's a beautiful person, it's a beautiful car, and then they become obsessed with owning it and holding on to it. But that's one level. But then you're connecting to the outer image of beauty, or the external image of beauty. But everything that's beautiful in this world comes from Tiferes, comes from the higher level of beauty. Every single emotion that we have in this world, if a person's feeling love, the root of that love is chesed, is divine love. If a person's feeling anger or hurt, the root of that feeling is gevura, is divine wrath, is divine severity. So every single emotion, every single experience, every single thing that we see has a divine root, has a spiritual root to it. And the intention of seeing things in this physical world is not to connect to them for themselves on their own, certainly if it's a thing that is not allowed for you. But the intention is to use that as a springboard to have a higher experience. To take that thing that you're seeing and the experience that you're having, and to go to the depth of that experience to open you up to an experience that's much larger than that particular thing. So for example, a person sees something beautiful and you're attracted to that beautiful thing. You have to ask yourself, why am I attracted to this beautiful physical thing? Because it's beauty. What is beauty? Beauty is symmetry. Beauty is harmony. There's a certain level of organism with this object. What's the root of that idea? What's the spiritual root of this type of beauty in this world? This comes because of the midah of Tiferes, the attribute of Tiferes. This is because there's a spiritual attribute. There's like this chesed, which is kindness, and gvura, which is restriction. There's also a midah, a spiritual attribute, divine attribute. It's called tiferes. So why should I connect with the dimension of tiferes that's reflected in this physical world, and I only experience the beauty in this particular object, and I'm not seeing beauty in everything? If I'm able to connect with the construct of beauty itself, the spiritual construct of beauty itself, not and unspecifically related to this particular image, then I connect with the beauty in principle of the divine beauty, which is reflected in everything in this world. So I'm not only longer attracted to this particular thing and only see beauty in this thing, because I'm connected to the essence of the beauty, the principle of beauty, the concept of beauty, the spiritual concept of beauty that's the root of the beauty that exists in this world. Now I can see beauty in everything. So it's not specific. There's a story that's brought down in the Reishis Chachma, which is a medieval text in the 1500s, written by Leo de Vidas, a very important student of the Ramak, Rabbi Shekadavero. He writes that there was once a simple person that was a simple farmer, a young lad, that he was once in the town square, and a princess was passing through on her carriage, and he saw her beauty, and he lusted for her beauty, and he gives a scream out to this woman, to this princess, and says, "If only I could be with you for a few hours." This is the story that's recorded, and the princess says yes, in the graveyard. And this simple man thinks that what the princess meant, that he should go to the graveyard, and there she will come to be with him. So he goes to the graveyard, and he's this very simple person, and he stays there the whole day, and he just saw a fleeting image of this woman that he became infatuated with, and he's there. And he waits for the day ends, and it's nightfall, but he imagines that maybe she'll come at night. And he waits throughout the night, and he's still pining for her, and she doesn't show up. But he knows that for sure she will show up, and he's there day after day after day, waiting for her to come. A day passes, a week passes, a month passes, a year passes, and years pass, and he's still pining for this woman. And over time, because he only saw a fleeting image of this woman, his love and his infatuation that he had, and his attraction to the beauty of this, was no longer attracted to a specific image, because the image was lost. It was no longer that image. That image faded many years before. But he then became attracted to the concept, to the idea of beauty, to the idea of love, and to the spiritual quality of love, that he became a great lover. And not only a lover of one, but a lover of all creation. And the story concludes that he became a great tzaddik, a holy man, and people all over the world would come to ask him for blessings. What that means is that sometimes from the depth of a particular thing, you can come to the everything. If you see something, don't get caught up in the specific thing and say, I'm so attracted to that specific thing, especially if it's something that's not good for you and it's not allowed for you and it's prohibited. But say, what is that attraction? What is the spiritual quality of that idea? And could I connect that to something larger? And if it's beauty, could I connect to the beauty of the midah of Tiferes, or the attribute of Tiferes, which is Hashem's beauty in this world? And then when I'm connected myself to the beauty, the pure beauty, then I can see beauty in everything in this world. If I connect myself to the pure love, I can be in love with everything in Hashem's creation. So you go from the specific into the general, from the specific, the very defined thing, connect it specifically to this particular image or to this particular idea, and then it becomes much larger and enlarges you to experience that pure love, that pure beauty. So everything in this world, we can do this. We can do this to anything in this world. We just have to know, like the Alter Rebbe writes in Tanya, that with certain things, how could you elevate it if you yourself is lower? If you're having certain thoughts and certain sensations, certain feelings that you have no control over, but they have control over you, then it's best to let them go. But if it's something that's unusual and something that's magical, that's something and something that's not a normal thought that normally comes to your mind, or normal attraction that you normally have, and you know these are things that you've worked on yourself and you've overcame them, but you're still feeling a certain attraction, even to like a small little gadget, and it looks beautiful to you, and you know you really don't need these things. So then take a moment and reflect and say, what's beauty? What's the root of beauty? Can I connect myself to the root and the spiritual root of the midah of Tiferes, the attribute of Tiferes? And if I can connect to that pure beauty, I can see beauty in everything. And I can connect to the beauty of Hashem and feel dvekas, a oneness with Hashem, the Creator. And this is what happens with Yosef. He looks at something and he sees the Mustiyek L'Shalaviv. He sees the image of his father, which means the attribute of Tiferes, of beauty in its root. The attribute of Tiferes is his father in the Kabbalistic terms. He sees that within her, and then Vayonas Achutza, he leaves her. He doesn't have to be on a physical level with this person because he knows that it's wrong and it's not the appropriate thing to do, but he still opens himself up to that sensation and that feeling of beauty, and is able to see the beauty within everything and within everyone. Good job with this.